In this video, you will see how you can take your hair from this and turn it into this in under 6 minutes instantly using this tool. This is the Greatlocs crochet hook, and you need this tool to instantly lock up your hair. So let's start with your hair. Grab a section, comb out that section, make sure it's clean, and once you have that section, you're ready to instantly lock up your hair. Now, to show that I'm not exaggerating, I put a timer at the bottom left of the screen, and as I start crochet hooking, the timer starts. So if your dreadlocks are frizzy, or if you even want to start dreadlocks, you can use this tool to instantly lock up your hair. Alright guys, and right there you have it, only 5 minutes and 48 seconds. If you want to take it a step further and handle those overgrown roots, then you want to use the Greatlocs interlocking tool. All you have to do is make a couple passes through your roots, and your roots are maintained just the way that you want them to be. So make sure to order yourself the Greatlocs locking bundle by clicking the link down below. And make sure to use code GREAT at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Greatlocs. I'm Gunther the Great, and today we're going to take a look at Summrs Dreadlocks. He has some really interesting dreadlocks, and I'm really excited to speak about these. He is very underground, but a lot of people did request him. And I do want to mention, comment down below who you guys like to see next, and I do take the most comments and then make a video on that person. Now, that doesn't mean comment down a bunch of times of who you want to watch. Just comment down below who you want to watch, and if multiple people comment that down below, then I make a video on it. I also want to mention, if you're new, subscribe, because I make dreadlock videos every single week. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So right off the bat, you notice one thing about his dreadlocks, and that they are extremely skinny. They're nice and thin. The cool thing about it is not only are they thin, but they're thin all the way down to the root. Typically when you see thin dreadlocks, you see them being very thin at the tip, and then they gradually get thicker all the way down to the root. Now obviously his roots are probably a little bit thicker than the tip, but you can hardly tell. And this is a style that a lot of people with dreadlocks, or people that plan on getting dreadlocks, want to have. They want to have really skinny dreadlocks, and they want to know how to get them. And I'll put it very simple. If you want skinny dreadlocks, you need skinny sections. Now I would say this, if you have a tighter curl pattern, it makes it way easier to actually get skinny dreadlocks than if you were to have a straighter curl pattern, or even straight hair. And I'll take it even a step further. Straight hair is a little bit more tough to lock up than it is for the tighter curl patterns like 4A through 4C. Even if you have a 3C, those are a little tighter curl patterns. Now when you get down to the 2s and the 1 range, it's straighter, and it makes it a little harder for you to not only get dreadlocks, but even harder for you to get skinny or thin dreadlocks. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, it just means that it's a little more tough. But yeah, to answer that question, how to get skinny dreadlocks, it's really simple. If you want a skinny dreadlock, you need a skinny section. But before we get even further into how to get skinny dreadlocks, let's talk a little bit more about how he got his dreadlocks. Starting out with his hair type. His hair type appears to be either a 4A or a 4B. He has a very tight curl pattern, which makes it very clear on how he actually got his dreadlocks that skinny, because he has a tight curl pattern. And if you notice one thing about his dreadlocks, they don't even appear to be fully mature. You can still see a little bit of the coiling up, which answers how he actually got his dreadlocks. So with him being a 4A, he can really choose whichever method he wants in order to get dreadlocks. But by looking at his dreadlocks, it looks like he started out with twisting. He most likely did comb coils and just allowed those coils to tighten up over time. That's why they're so uniform, and not only that, that's why they're so skinny. I only call it comb coils because his hair is a little bit longer. So when you do that method, the hair might start out a little thick, but when you start out like that, the dreadlocks might appear thick at first, and then eventually they just start to slim over time. Another thing you'll notice about his dreadlocks is that the tips are not fully mature, obviously the same as the rest of the dreadlocks. You can see that the coils are actually a little bit unraveled at the tips, which is actually really cool. Over time, that will blunt up and tighten up. Even now, you can see that some of his tips are actually blunted up. And the locking process consists of obviously starting out with a method which we see him doing comb coils or twisting with gel. And then from there, budding up, which a bud is essentially just the dreadlock thickening up. And then after that, it tightens down and then fully matures. Now, although his dreadlocks aren't fully mature, I can say that these aren't going anywhere. And that's the thing about doing comb coils or twisting with gel. Other things that we notice about his dreadlocks is that he does have a high top fade, which makes it a lot cooler, I think, in my opinion. I think just having a high top fade overall gives the dreadlocks a good look. If you have messy dreadlocks and you have a high top fade, it cleans things up. And when you're going through the locking process, I think it just eases you into your dreadlocks. But just an overall look of Summrs Dreadlocks. He has a 4A hair type, which makes it very easy to lock up. He can do any method if he wants to do twisting with gel, crochet hooking, interlocking, sponge rub, any method he would like, he can do it really with that hair type.
Now, obviously you don't want to do sponge rub at, 6 inches of hair or 7 inches of hair, which he is at. But if his hair was a little bit shorter, around 3 to 4 inches, would be very suitable. And he obviously got skinny dreadlocks by making skinny sections. And skinny dreadlocks, I believe, come from doing the comb coil or the twisting with gel method, because your hair is uniform the entire time versus the crochet hook method, which obviously you can do it with that as well. You just got to create a smaller section. But with the comb coil or the twisting with gel method, it stays uniform the entire time. And what I mean by uniform is it will stay in its smallest form for majority of the time that you're locking up. But the downside of it is you have to constantly twist your hair, like the process I'm going through on my main channel, Gun to the Great. I'm taking you guys through the process of me actually going through the twisting with gel method, which in my opinion is a really cool method to choose. It is a very interesting experience as well, but at the same time, it takes a long time. I've been going through this process for about 4 months now, and my hair is barely getting into the initial locking process. So it takes time. I will say that longer hair is a little bit easier to deal with, but if you have shorter hair around the 4-inch or the 3-inch length, then don't be discouraged, you can do this method as well. But yeah guys, he has the 4A hair type, he created small sections, did the comb coils or the twisting with gel method, and then now he just allows it to mature. That's why we see the budding process happening. But you guys, at Summrs Dreadlocks, it was really cool looking at his dreads. You guys have requested this over and over again. Like I said before, comment down below who you guys would like to see next, and I'll definitely make a video on it. But other than that, subscribe if you guys are new, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Now without further ado, I'll see you in your first class.